So, I noticed my converting physical games to digital video was getting pretty popular, and I saw some comments asking how they would do the opposite, that is, transferring a digital save file to a physical cartridge. Pretty simple, it's basically the reverse process. But because someone complained that my original video was hard to follow, I decided to make this separate video, and I even wrote a little script. So hopefully that helps to make things a little more straightforward and easier to understand. Okay, so let's get started. First requirement is you need to get an SD card to USB-A or USB-C adapter. I have this one from Ugreen, but I don't really recommend it because the USB-C port is a little raised, so I had to do my own trimming. But other than that, it works as advertised. It is a SD card adapter that plugs into a USB-A port or a USB-C port. The second requirement is we need a 3DS with custom firmware installed, so it can't be a stock 3DS, unfortunately. Now I'm going to go ahead and skip installing custom firmware onto this 3DS because you really should refer to the guide on 3DS not what I'm doing in this video, because the method to hack a 3DS might change drastically in like the near future. I don't know. This one had it pre-installed already, so I'm just going to be loading the Luma files and whatnot back on it. Yeah, so let me go ahead and do that. And with custom firmware now set back up on the 3DS, let's install Checkpoint if you haven't already. If you follow the 3DS guide and you use their finalizing script, then you should already have installed Checkpoint. Skip to this point of the video if it's already installed. But if you haven't and you don't know what Checkpoint is, it's the program that lets us back up and restore save files from cartridges to consoles and vice versa. So, if you don't have it already, open FBI either from your home screen or from the homebrew launcher. So after opening up FBI, you should head over to the Checkpoint GitHub, and then you should head on over to Releases. There you go, Releases. By grabbing it from the GitHub release page, this ensures you will have the latest version available. And once you're at the release screen of Checkpoint, scroll down until you see 3DS. But it seems it's saying use 3.7.4. Yes, so this will happen. So go ahead and just follow the installation instructions on this GitHub website. Now let's locate where your digital save file you want to transfer to a cartridge is saved. So if it's in TWiLightMenu or an NDS Forwarder, it will be in the following folders. Or if it's on an emulator, consult their documentation or support forums to find out where they store the save files. If it's on an R4 or some other DS flashcart, it'll usually be in the same folder as the ROM, but sometimes it'll be in a separate saves folder, also in the same folder as the ROM. It'll just be a saves folder underneath. Okay, whatever. So whatever medium it's on, figure out where it stores the save files, and then locate the specific save file you want to transfer to a physical cartridge. In our case, the save file will be located on an R4 in the SD card. For this specific flashcart, it'll be in the same folder as the ROM. So it'll be .nds and it'll be .save. After you've located the save file you want to transfer and you've installed Checkpoint on the 3DS, we'll go ahead and transfer the save file we just located to our 3DS. To do so, we'll first add an entry for the game inside Checkpoint. So with Checkpoint closed, take your physical cartridge and plug it into the DS, which I have already done. As you can see, Pokemon White 2. and then go ahead and start checkpoint. With the cartridge plugged in, you want to go ahead and click A to select it. When the cursor is highlighting blue on new, you also click A again, backup select file. Go ahead and just use that. Actually, we'll do this. Progress save the disk. Perfect. And that means we've created an entry within Checkpoint for our game, and we've also backed up the save file. But let's say you purchased the game online and it's currently in the mail. Well, you can create this entry manually. First, go to gametdb.com, then search for your game in the top left, then look at the 4-character code. This is your game ID. Then create a folder following Checkpoint's pre-existing folder names in 3ds/checkpoint/saves. The naming scheme of which is game ID, game name in all caps. And then create a folder using Checkpoint's folder name convention. It's year, month, day, and then a random string of characters. Now that Checkpoint is all set up for your game, we'll go ahead and transfer the digital save file from our R4 to our 3DS and then into Checkpoint. You can use a variety of methods to do this. The simplest way is to take the 3DS's SD card out of the console, drag the save file you want to transfer onto your 3DS's SD card, and then plug the SD card back in. But if you're unable to access a screwdriver to open the back cover, or you can't open the back due to a strip screw or something, we'll be using FTPD. So first, you want to install FTPD. You can do this 3 ways. So first was the finalizing script. It should include FTPD already. But if you didn't use the script, you can go ahead and open Universal Updater and download it from there. Finally, if you don't have Universal Updater and you didn't use the script, then you can head over to their GitHub website, where you can go ahead and download the latest build. Once you've found the GitHub page and you've located the QR code, go ahead and open FBI and scan it to install. And if you're wondering what the difference between Pro and Classic is, Pro uses a GUI, which means graphic user interface, while Classic uses a CLI, so it's just command line. So to continue using FTPD, we'll be using a computer to go ahead and transfer our files over FTP. You can use an Android phone or even an iPad. I've never actually used an iPhone, so I'm not sure if that works. First things we want to do is we want to plug in our SD card into our computer. Now we'll go ahead and take out our SD card adapter, and we'll take out the SD card, plug it in, and plug this in. Now that I've got the SD card for the R4 plugged into my computer, I'm going to go ahead and transfer the save file onto my computer. So we go ahead and transfer that onto Checkpoint. Games, Pokemon. Now where's White 2? And then we'll want to be looking for the .save file, not the .rts or .nds file. So that's going to be this one. Copy it. Actually, there we go. Drag it over, and voila. It's now on my computer. So now we're done with the R4. Just go ahead and eject it. And I'll leave it plugged in for now. Now we're going to make sure our computer and our 3DS are connected to the same Wi-Fi networks. So first, let's go ahead and get out of here. And if you're using a personal hotspot on, say, a mobile phone, like an Android phone or like an iPhone, make sure you enable maximize compatibility, or else you won't be able to connect to the internet with this, or at least even join. Okay. All right, so our laptop's connected. And our 3DS is connected. So now we are good to go. We'll go ahead and open another File Explorer window, and at the top where the URL bar is, we'll want to backspace everything. And we want to get ready to type. Now on the 3DS, we're gonna have to do a little bit of setup. Okay. So now that we're back at the home menu, we're gonna want to launch FTPD. As you can see, Wi-Fi connected, started server, and we want to make note of the IP. Now in the File Explorer window we just backspaced, we'll want to type in FTP://172.20.10.4 port 5000. There you go. So you can see a whole bunch of text starts scrolling, and now we're into the SD card on the console without having to take the back cover off. Okay, so now we're gonna head over to the 3DS folder, and then the checkpoint folder, and then saves. And then here we see our Pokemon White 2 entry. As you can see, it's the game ID, and then the game name in all caps. So we open that, and we see that's just the folder we just created with our backing up our original save file on the cartridge. So now we're going to create a new one. So we're just going to call this 2023-1024 R4. Okay. And then we're going to want to go into the other folder we created, and we're going to take note of how they labeled their file name. So just Pokemon W2. So same as the game name up here. So we're just going to copy that. So we're going to transfer this save file over. So you can see a lot of text going on. And then we're going to rename this Pokemon W2. Whoops, sorry. Check. Okay. Now that we've transferred over the save file from our computer over to our 3DS, we're going to want to hit exit. And just to show you, here's the previous save file that's still on the cartridge at the moment. As you can see, Orin with around 170 hours. You can see we're at the Pokemon Center. All right, now we're going to exit, and then we're going to launch Checkpoint. All right, so you can see we have Pokemon White 2 entry, and we have our save file that we backed up from the cartridge, and then this is the one we just transferred over. So click A to select, and then as you can see the blue cursor, head on over to the one we just transferred over, and then click R and restore save file. You can also click A to restore it, but yeah. Give it a moment. And then we're going to want to exit out and boot the game to double check. Boom, there we go. That's a save file we just transferred over. And that's how you do it. So hopefully that's a bit less confusing.